Today you're going to learn how I went from this to this in 4 years. Let's look at it year after year, starting with the first one. Besides drawing as a kid, I haven't done anything close to art until I decided to draw this guy. As I finished it, I realized I had some sort of skill and got a confidence boost of 5,000. Thinking I was Picasso, one thing led to another and I started sharing my art. Alright, but how has that anything to do with my art improvement? Well, before we come to that, let's look at the two things that helped a lot more than social media did. Number 1, the Pentel Graph Gear 1000. And no, that's not exaggerated, that is its actual name. Sounds like a goddamn transformer. And number 2, some thick paper from Canson. Before I switched to digital art, I've used these for 3 whole years and they never let me down. But there's a big but. The tools are just as good as the artist himself. And so I didn't have a clue how to use them. And this is where social media comes in. Looking at all the artists, my brain was bombarded with inspiration. Is bombarded a word? My drawings started stacking, and so slowly but steady, I've started improving a lot. Giving a lot more texture, especially to the hair, as also the clothes. And not only that, I started adding color and in general give a lot more depth to my drawings. Filling 2 folders in year 1, year 2 wasn't any different. Except that I got a little braver. Except for the fact I got a little braver. One hand, another hand, fan arts, originals, eyes flying across the room, and much more. And I'd love to show you all these abominations, but these are tens of hundreds of drawings. Now you might be thinking, drawing a lot makes you a better artist. Well, yes and no. There's pretty much one problem with this, and if you want to know that problem, watch till the end. Psych! Did you really think I would do this to you? There are going to be multiple difficulties in my art journey, which I'm all gonna mention throughout the video. But yeah, starting with the first problem, drawing a lot doesn't make you better unless you know how to draw something. Buildings in perspective, but you don't know what for. When you draw a body from a reference, a lot of beginner artists start, like for example with the feet, with the toes, put in all the details in the beginning, without breaking it down into simple shapes first, without constructing the whole thing first. But if you never learn how to construct something, you will have a tough time drawing. Nevertheless, I tried my best, I tried to be creative, and I think that also counts for something. Moving on to year 3, this is the year I got brain damage because I was thinking so much. And it's also the year I decided I want to do art for a living. Now we are 1 more year away from the grand finale, so if you came this far, thank you! Now in this year, I undoubtedly made my best drawings traditionally. I started adding multiple characters to a drawing, I experimented a little bit with color, and even tried drawing with a ballpoint pen. For some reason though, it just wasn't enough. But let's come back to the improvement first. How did I go from this to this? To keep it short and simple, first of all, I fixed problem number 1 that I talked about earlier. And then I fixed another problem. And that problem is reference usage. I don't know if people still believe that you are a bad artist if you use references. And vice versa, if you draw from your head, you are a good/better artist. It's just not true. And to keep you away from long theory, just use your references. Use good references and study them. And you will see your drawings will improve a lot. Coming back to the question, why was it not enough? Well, I started discovering all these amazing artworks and I was just not able to do it. And it's not mainly about being able to do something, but about me wanting to do something. So I had to make a choice. Will I cage myself and continue copying anime characters or make a switch? And so I decided to go for digital art. It is time. Time for the grand finale! To call it another year would be very exaggerated because I initially switched to digital art 4 months ago. Now you might wonder, it couldn't have been that bad, right? Well, that's true, cause it was worse. This and this were my first drawings. I had to go from this to this in 4 months. And since this is the grand finale, I'm going to tell you how I did this in 60 seconds. The start is usually filled with anxiety and stress. You don't know where to start, how to start, or what to do. So I decided I needed a routine, just like brushing your teeth every morning and night. I went to Pinterest, got myself a bunch of references, and simply started sketching. If I then liked one of the sketches, I turned it into an illustration. This way I could get better at creating and rendering at the same time. Now that I got a routine, I need a direction. There you just have to decide what you want to start with. Since realism is the base to simplified art and I never got to learn that, I decided to go down that road. And then there's the style. The style is something that comes with time. I'm still figuring it out for myself. You just have to try out a bunch of things. I, for example, like digital paintings, but I didn't want to color it like everybody else, so I made it black and white, and then added a little bit of color. And lastly, besides the practical studies, there's a little bit of theory. And I'm not talking about just watching tutorials. Because as an artist, you should know the number one skill is observation, which is why I started to see the world totally different. A face is no face, an arm is no arm, clothes are not clothes. They're studies. That also goes for artworks, movies, anime, everything. Because in the end, there's an artist behind it, so see what you can learn from them. Now, there's one more thing. Since this is my art journey, I'm not supposed to just talk and talk and talk. I'm supposed to show my art. Which is why in the next 30-ish seconds you will see 100 drawings that I put together of the last 4 years. If I could do this in 4 years, imagine what you could do. I shared this small art journey to show people what's possible. And whether you're old or young, it is never too late. And with that being said, thanks for watching.